A crime boss deliberately ran down and killed a police officer during a criminal act. In order to clean up his identity and reputation, he chose to turn himself in to the police. He fabricated the officer's death as a traffic accident and contacted lawyer Pan Shao before surrendering to represent him in court. Pan Shao was a corrupt attorney who regularly exploited legal loopholes to help criminals beat their charges. After meeting with the crime boss in jail, his only concern was whether the payment would be substantial. Once he received assurance about the generous fee, he felt confident and relaxed. The trial date soon arrived, and by then Pan Shao had discovered evidence that could turn the case around. On the day of the arrest, the deceased police officer and his colleagues had been drinking alcohol during lunch. Pan Shao seized on this as his breakthrough, arguing that this was simply an ordinary traffic accident and that the officer's drinking was the primary cause of the incident. Through his manipulation of the facts, the crime boss and his bald accomplice were successfully cleared of all charges and released from prison. After the crime boss was released, Pan Shao demanded the remaining payment for his legal services. However, the boss claimed he had no money at the moment and promised to transfer the balance to his account within 10 days. In reality, he had no intention of paying the remaining fees. Unexpectedly, Pan Shao threatened the crime boss, claiming he had the power to send him back to prison. He then set his sights on the crime boss's red sedan, demanding the car as collateral for the debt. Faced with Pan Shao's coercion, the crime boss had no choice but to comply. Pan Shao thought everything was settled as he drove the car home, but he had no idea that every step he took was falling into the crime boss's trap. The reason the crime boss willingly gave up the sedan was because it contained falcons worth $1 million that he had captured earlier. He had been imprisoned before he could sell them and had hidden them in the car. Since Pan Shao had a clean criminal record and could freely cross borders, the boss's plan was to have Pan Shao successfully transport the falcons across the border, then arrange for his bald accomplice to kill Pan Shao halfway and reclaim the birds. Pan Shao successfully passed through border control and was about to enter a 500-kilometer stretch of uninhabited wasteland. In this no man's land, cell phones had no signal, making it a lawless zone, the perfect location for the bald man to make his move against Pan Shao. As Pan Shao drove along the road, he noticed a truck moving slowly ahead of him. Just as he saw an opportunity to pass, someone in the truck's passenger seat threw a beer bottle that smashed directly into his windshield, nearly causing him to crash. Enraged, Pan Shao came up with a plan for revenge. He threw a lit lighter onto the cotton cargo in the truck, which quickly caught fire. Having successfully gotten his revenge, Pan Shao made a victory gesture, mocking Tom and Jack. Not far ahead, the bald man was waiting for Pan Shao. He disguised himself as a stranded motorist in need of help. However, because Pan Shao's windshield was shattered and he was severely nearsighted, he couldn't clearly see the bald man waving for assistance up ahead. By a twist of fate, he drove straight into the bald man. This suspenseful and entertaining movie is called No Man's Land.